Hey everyone, Brian Zane here. Time for my predictions for this weekend's Clash of Champions pay-per-view happening in the Thunderdome on the WWE Network. It's a show where all the belts are on the line, so odds are at least one of those titles is changing hands, right? We'll see, but first let's begin with the kickoff show match as Asuka will defend the Raw Women's title against Zelina Vega. They have tried, emphasis tried, to make Zelina look like a credible contender in the last couple of weeks, but I mean, there's a lot of catching up to do because Zelina has been a manager. She can wrestle, but she's not been wrestling on TV all that much at all. And so the idea that she's here in this kind of match against Asuka seems kind of silly. Maybe she'll put up a bit of a fight, but I think Asuka is going to handily defeat Zelina here and retain the championship. Bobby Lashley defends the U.S. Championship against the man he beat for it at Payback, Apollo Crews. This in an era where I thought automatic rematches weren't a thing. Anyway, as far as how this match is going to end up, there's a part of me that thinks, one, Lashley will hold on to the belt because I think he needs to keep the belt on him to keep the Hurt Business strong. There's another part of me that thinks, what if this is a time for like Retribution to interfere and just cause chaos, just beat up Bobby Lashley, either costing him the championship, but I think more appropriately it would be just, have the match end in a big schmoz DQ finish. I don't want to see that, but that's how they're booking things lately. So I think that, one of two things is going to happen. Bobby Lashley either wins decisively or the Retribution gets involved and costs him the belt, or just ends in some kind of big double DQ, matches thrown out kind of thing. The Street Profits fight Angel Garza and Andrade for the 100th time this year for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I feel this would be a time for Andrade and Angel to actually win the belts, although it'd be kind of like striking while the iron was lukewarm, not necessarily hot. It'd be interesting if Angel and Andrade won right after their manager leaves them. How bad would that make Zelina look as a manager if she couldn't lead them to the championships, even after poisoning one of the team members, and then in the end only for her to leave the group and then they win the championships? That would make Zelina look bad, I think, in the future as a manager, in my opinion, but it could happen. I think the Street Profits have had the belts for long enough. I said this last time at SummerSlam too. They've had it for long enough. I think it's time for some new blood in the tag scene. So yes, why not? Let's have Angel and Andrade finally win the damn things. Speaking of tag team championships, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura will defend against Lucha House Party, and the real wild card about this is the conflict between Lince Dorado and Kalisto over who's really the leader of the Lucha House Party at this point. Kalisto really kind of throwing his weight around, kind of getting overbearing now that he's back with the group. I think that will contribute to finish this matchup here. I think that Cesaro and Shinsuke will retain due to some kind of miscommunication or some kind of breakdown with Lucha House Party because of Kalisto's meddling. A triple threat ladder match to see who the true Intercontinental Champion is, as the official champion Jeff Hardy defends against the former champion who never lost, Sami Zayn, and then there's AJ Styles. This thing's got dream match written all over it. Like these three together in a combustible thing like a ladder match should be a lot of fun. Could be match of the night. I'm very much looking forward to this one. As for who will win this thing, I think it would be just the greatest troll move in the world to have Sami Zayn win this thing, maybe carry around both Intercontinental Championships and just to prove how big of a deal he is and everything, just be more of that smarmy, overbearing, just incorrigible asshole he's been lately. I think it'd be cool to see him in that position there. So there's a part of me that thinks that he is going to win, so that's going to be my pick of Sami Zayn. The unlikely duo of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax will defend the women's tag titles against the newly reformed Riot Squad. That's Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan. This one's kind of a toss-up for me because I can see there being a bit of mileage left in the Shayna-Nia duo, although I maintain from what I've said before that they need to have establish some kind of more character work to really help build that world. But at the same time, I mean, the Riot Squad do have some momentum, and I think they should get that chance to have the belts they didn't get a chance to when they were around the first time and the belts weren't really a thing. So yeah, I think a nice little feather in the cap, or a nice way to kind of cap off the reunion of the Riot Squad, would be to have them win the championships. And I think you could probably get more mileage out of Nia and Shayna feuding than them as champions, even though I like that idea as well. So I think the Riot Squad will win and become the new tag champs. Bayley defends the SmackDown Women's Championship against Nikki Cross once again. I don't really see anything changing here with this one. I think Bayley's going to retain, strictly because, I mean, Sasha Banks even gave it away in her interview last week on SmackDown that she wants to challenge Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. So do you think Bayley's going to drop it and then get it back in time for a feud, or just hold on to it for a while longer? I think it's going to be the latter of the two. In one of the most improbable title matches of all time, you've got Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against his own cousin, perennial tag team wrestler, Jey Uso. This, I think, can be a really interesting segment, but here's the thing. This cannot be a long, competitive, drawn-out match. It can't be. For the purpose of this story, you've got to have Roman Reigns just beating the bejesus out of his cousin Jey Uso to really put over how much of a prick Roman has become. I don't want to see a competitive knocky-draggy. Maybe in a rematch down the line or something after Roman really establishes how much of an evil guy he is. But this one's got to be just squashy, squash, squash. Roman retains here. And I know some people might not like that, but like that's, I think, what they have to do to get this character over. And finally, in an ambulance match, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton will face off for Drew's WWE Championship. I'm not looking forward necessarily to the stipulation of the ambulance match. I feel that that can kind of like kill the flow of matches sometimes, all the fighting to get somebody into the ambulance and whatnot, and like teasing the door shut. Oh, the fighting over the door shutting. There's gonna be a lot of that, I bet you, in this matchup here. Now here's my pick. I think Drew McIntyre is going to win this match. Sorry, Randy, no 14th championship for you just yet. But I think, and this is pure fantasy booking here, I think that there's gonna be a twist at the end of this matchup here where Retribution gets involved, and the big twist is that Keith Lee will be revealed as the leader. Since we are already following the Aces and Eights trajectory for this angle and this stable here, it stands to reason that Keith Lee, who's been getting screwed out of a lot of opportunities for titles already in the last few weeks, would be established as the leader of the group. And yes, Retribution have beaten him up a little bit, but kind of like the Bully Ray explanation, you know, everyone has to take a beating every once in a while to kind of show how tough you are. I imagine that would be how they would write themselves out of that one. And you know, everyone's been saying, how much sense does it make for Retribution to attack Keith Lee when you clearly have Dominik Dijakovic and Mia Yim, his best friend and his on and off air girlfriend, you know, in the group, attacking Keith Lee? Like that's how you tie it together. Keith is working with them. It's like a sleeper cell kind of thing. Like the timing of Keith Lee coming to the main roster and Retribution showing up, I think they line up closely enough that I wouldn't be surprised if that was the twist. But we'll have to see. But those are just my picks, folks. Let me know what you think's going to happen at Clash of Champions in the comments section below, and I will see you on the other side with my review of it on Monday morning. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.